Hey, what's going on? I'm Fleet here at the Wizard's Wagon, and I got some comics and some graphic novels to show you. So first up, we're gonna talk about Home. This is from Image Comics, and this is about a mother and a son who they're seeking asylum at the U.S. border. The father of this group was killed by gangs, and they just escaped for their lives. But when they get here, this takes place pretty early on in President Trump's presidency. So when they get there, what's going on is a little bit different than what they're expecting, and they get split up. And the mother is sent to another facility. The son is put into a cage, and all that. And we kind of see like the harsh realities of what's going on in those detainment zones. And what eventually ends up happening is, and which is a part of it, and just telling you everything about it, so you can kind of see for yourself. At the end, the child is thrown into a isolation chamber, to which we see that he develops superhuman abilities, and it's kind of like an origin story, not unlike the comic called Black, which is a similar concept, where a black youth was killed by the police, only to resurrect in the back of the ambulance and learn that they had superpowers. So this is pretty good, and I would recommend everyone to try to find this, pick it up, read it for yourself. Next, from Marvel, we have Spider-Man, Spider Shadow #1. This is a what if story, and this is like the old what ifs, but this one's going to be 4 issues instead of 1. And this is about what happens if Peter Parker never got rid of his symbiote costume, so it was never a Venom, and that he himself becomes Venom. And so we see how this tracks. If you're familiar with the story about how he got rid of the costume, it kind of goes that same path, but then he decides to not do it instead, and the symbiote kind of takes over, and he becomes extraordinarily violent, and which is kind of cool to see. And then we also have a look at what he'll look like as Venom. I'm not going to show you that because you should see what happens for yourself. But yeah, pretty solid as well. Then we're going to talk about Batman, because I'm always hating on Batman. But this one's written by Tom Taylor. This is called Batman the Detective. This is one of 6, and this is a story that begins with like a terrorist attack, where a plane is taken down and crashed, but one of the Batman variants, this one being called Knight, who's the Batman of England, and Knight's partner is called Squire, so instead of Robin, Squire. They come in contact with Bruce as he's dealing with his problems. Alfred's dead, and he's feeling bad about himself and all this and that. But he ends up going out on his own, changes his costume, looks like Ben Affleck, and the Nightmare kind of stuff from the Justice League movies. And and he ends up even punching a ghost in the face. So I'm sure Batman fans will be excited about that. One more thing that he does that he shouldn't be able to do. But Lamar's looking at me. But it's pretty cool series. And again, Tom Taylor writes it. He's a strong writer. So I recommend this. All right, then one more comic. We got Sandman, Lock and Key. So Sandman is a story about the I guess the god of dreams, and Lock and Key is a story about a house where the family lives there. The names are the Locks, and they have keys that do all kinds of stuff. You pull one in your head and walk inside your own memories, or you had a key, you put it in a door, you go anywhere you think about. So this crosses the 2 franchises over, and it takes place kind of it's kind of like a prequel for both of them, but so far back as like in the early 1900s. So it doesn't necessarily tie into anything significant, but it is very interesting to see how this works and how they don't affect each other's canons in any kind of weird way, and actually kind of go hand in hand. So that's pretty cool too. All right, so a big thing is this week Marvel decided to republish a bunch of stuff. So we got this Vision comic right here about Vision living in a suburban life with his robot, with synthoid wife and synthoid kids. We got Vision and Scarlet Witch, which puts together a bunch of key issues for Scarlet Witch and the Vision, how they get together, how they have family and kids. And then we also have House of M, which deals with Scarlet Witch's mental breakdown, which led to a whole bunch of stuff in Marvel and kind of kicked off tons and tons of things, most importantly being the depowerment of 98% of the Marvel mutant population. So these are all important because WandaVision came out, and these all give you insight to WandaVision in one way or another. So that's pretty cool. And you get these now because you couldn't get them when WandaVision was airing. And the last thing I'm going to talk to you about is this book right here. It's called Ask Iwata. This is a book about Nintendo's former CEO, Satoru Iwata. He died in 2015, but he's responsible for Nintendo's like just kind of innovation and things when they got into video games and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just prose. This is interviews about just important things in his life and decisions that he made for the company. And it's very informative if you're into video game history. And that's it. That's what I got for you. Thanks for watching.